Procrastination is the most common manifestation of resistance because it's the easiest to rationalize. We don't tell ourselves, I'm never going to write that email. Instead, we say, I'll write that email just right after I organize and clean out my entire camera bag. Today, I'm going to show you what's in my camera bag for 2020, as well as how to do this with your camera gear. Make it float in the air. I have some procrastinating to do, so I think I'm gonna clean out my camera bag, clean out every piece of equipment, and then show it all to you. Okay, cool, let's do it. Now that's all done, I'm gonna show you all the equipment that I have. I got this thing, which is, I've had this thing forever. It fits under any airplane seat. The stuff in there is pretty expensive, so I never had to check it when I'm flying. It's definitely getting older. So I want to give you a little bit of an idea of what kind of cost range it would be for all of this equipment in together. That's my digital bag, and then I have, this has kind of become my film bag. It's because both my film and digital stuff doesn't all fit in one bag, which I've been kind of currently figuring out how I can put that all into one case. All right, time to go through all the equipment. This guy, the Nikon D750, is what I'm actually also filming on right now. I chose this camera because it's my wedding workhorse camera. This thing is amazing. I got it specifically because it has really great low light capabilities. Anytime I'm shooting commercial photography, or when a job needs a lot more resolution, is when I'll use the Nikon D850 610. So this is also a full frame digital camera. I've had this thing since 2013 and I just can't get rid of it. Like, it has literally traveled the world with me, as well as this bag. And this is a backup to my backup. Let's do the film body. As a 35mm option, Nikon F100. It has all the kind of controls that I need with not going overboard. So I shoot film for weddings, as well as some of the lifestyle photography that I do. Awesome thing about this is that it works with all my lenses. The thing I'm very excited about is my other film body, which is a medium format film camera. Oh, everything about this camera is just glorious. It has a legendary Carl Zeiss f2 80mm lens on it, and the photos that come out of this thing are just juicy. Portra 400 for the medium format contacts, this Sekonic light meter, and then of course I have a backup to my light meter because I have backups of everything. This is the lens that I probably use the most, the 50mm 1.4. I recently switched over to Sigma for some of my lenses within the last 2 years, and I have never looked back. Like, if you've ever held one of these Sigma art lenses, you know they feel like weapons. It is so sturdy. Images that come out of it are glorious. I'm shooting on a 35 Sigma art lens 1.4. I have this 50mm 1.4, and then I have, you guessed it, this is a backup 50mm 1.4 as well. And there is a reason to why I am very serious about having backups of all these things. And I will tell you the story. Hold on. These guys, there is a reason I have these two things on my shelf staring at me every day, and that is to remind me the importance of having backups. Backups of your cameras, backups of your files, backups of everything. I was finishing a shoot and taking my bag out of the car. I didn't realize that I had not zipped up my camera bag. And so this one fell out of my camera bag, went to the ground. Thankfully, I was able to put my foot out to break the fall of it, but it still managed to break itself. What? Well, that's crazy. This has been broken on here for like 3 years and it just came off. Like, I took this to Henry, it was going to be impossible to fix without breaking it apart. What? All right, well, I'll continue with the story. This fell off and broke. Apparently it fixed itself. And then the next day I had another shoot lined up, so all I had was this camera left. And sure enough, I went on the shoot, and as I was taking photos, I looked down at my photo and it looked like there was black spaghetti all over my photo. The sensor had just given up its life. It had taken too many photos and just gave up on me. So thankfully, I had a friend nearby who had an extra camera that I ran over, picked it up, and finished the shoot. I can't believe it fixed itself. What is happening? This is a 24-70 2.8 Nikon. This thing is glorious as well. I use this a lot for commercial shoots. It gives me the flexibility, and this lens is beautifully sharp and really well constructed. Next is 85 1.8. I've had this also for a long time. This was probably like one of my second lenses to buy. 85mm 1.8. This was one of my also early purchases, a Sigma 70-200 2.8. This was the first Sigma lens that I bought. So I don't actually carry this in my camera bag. I leave this in the studio for whenever I need it. This is a 105mm 2.8. This is a macro lens that I use for weddings, or if I'm doing any type of product photography that needs like a really close macro lens. And then I have backups to the backups. Nikon 35 1.8. This is a backup to this 35mm that I'm recording on now. And then this little guy is like my little good luck charm. This is one of my first 50mm. If you are looking to get one lens for photography and you're just starting out, this 50mm is like 150 bucks. You must have good music. When you're having a shoot, you gotta set the vibe. And this thing, the Bang & Olufsen. You cannot have too many of these. This is like the best secret in lighting. These things were like 20 bucks. I actually got them when I was in China, and they're a little bit more expensive if you buy them in North America, but like, what a deal. I don't use the TTL versions of them. This is just like all manual flash. I think indestructible, and they are an eighth of the price of like actual Canon and Nikon version flashes, and I think they're just as good. Along with those flashes, you can get these Yongnuo radio triggers. Really simple. Only thing you can do with this is just like trigger the light. I have like a couple of these fancy ones that have different settings and different channels and stuff, but to be honest, I love these really simple, and then all your lights are manual, which I do anyway. Okay, battery charger. These guys organize my bag so much. It's a really cool way to store your batteries. I keep black is ones that are already used and they need to be charged, and then I use this. It glows in the dark. How awesome is that? These are all my charged batteries. Since I use those Yongnuo flashes so much, I don't know if I'm saying that, I've just called it Yongnuo forever. Is that how you say it? Yongnuo. Yongnuo. Can someone tell me how to pronounce that? I was using disposable AA and AAA, and I just was so sick of like using these batteries one time and throwing them out. So boom, I bought some Eneloop Pro batteries. The cool thing about this charger is that it charges AA and AAA. Sweet. This has been a new addition. This I use mostly for wedding photography, but this is a great pouch by Peak Design. I just needed something to like keep an extra lens with me. Typically only shoot with one digital body at a time. Can also just like go through your belts, or they have a strap system that you can also get. This clips onto your belt, and then there is a mount on the bottom that just like hooks on. So you can keep your camera right onto your belt, which is pretty cool. These Pelican cases, this is part of my whole backup workflow system. My camera shoots onto 2 SD cards. So one copy goes in this case, one copy goes in this case, and then they both go in different locations when I'm leaving the shoot or traveling or whatever. Waterproof, and they're just a great way to protect your digital storage after you're shooting. And then this little bag of gels. This kind of goes into more like specific lighting stuff, but these gels I use on those Yongnuno flashes. All right, so that is all my gear that I have in my digital bag and my film bag. Also, let's chat. Like, tell me, what equipment are you absolutely loving this year? Tell me down there. Hope that video was helpful for you guys. I'm gonna list all of my equipment in the description below, so if you're interested, you can see where to get any of that stuff. If you liked this video, I would love for you to subscribe. Maybe give a little tap onto that like button. And if you're interested too, there is a weekly podcast that I put out called Obsessive Creative. You can find it here on YouTube or just, I don't know, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, see you next time.